Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we hang out with all our friends, but Wario won't stop farting. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with ya. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
It's going great. I was in Nordstrom Rack the other day,
All right, yeah.
looking for shoes,
Right, like you do.
and there was a song came on in the background. I was like, "This is a Pet Shop Boys song, but I don't recognize it, so it must be one of their newer songs."
Sure, okay.
And
Stands to reason.
yes, but I wonder, do you think that there's a point where like these artists they stop liking the music that they're creating? Do you know what I mean? Where it's just like, man, like I have to.
Like
the song was fine,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I like the Pet Shop Boys. The song was fine, but it just got me thinking.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like, yeah, like does Cher still do the Rolling Stones still want to play rock and roll? You know, do they still want to write new rock and roll songs?
Are you talking about ending the podcast, Mark? No, I mean, I think, I'm sure there's some element of like, you don't like being pigeonholed into doing what you've been doing all your
Right.
life, but also there's like a reason that you are good at it, right? And a reason that the way you do it speaks to people.
And I guess if you're like the Pet Shop Boys and you don't want to do it anymore,
You can just
you
stop.
can just stop.
You can just stop.
Like you don't have to. You don't have to make new music if you didn't want to.
Well, and artists like change the style of music that they do like all the time.
Yeah, totally.
And sometimes they get pushed back and they stop doing it, and sometimes they like just incorporate it into their sound. Like Radiohead, right? Like they started doing like other more like electronic stuff, and then like when they kind of like looped around as like putting music back out again, it's like kind of a mashup of like guitar rock and electronic stuff. So like I think people find a way.
I think that's probably true.
Or everyone hates everything they're doing. We're all just
but
doing
the
our
money
best.
is too good and you just can't stop.
Speaking of the money being too dang good and you just can't stop, my copy of what game is this? Sonic Forces. My goodness. Would you like to borrow it? Oh, sorry, we've got WarioWare on the brain right now because we're going to be talking a lot about it later. But Sonic Forces, my copy. Do you want to borrow it? You can. All you got to do is email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. Give us a mailing address. I can send my copy. It goes to you. You play it for as long as you want. You send it back. There might be a copy of Untitled Goose Game in there. It's just a thing that happens.
Another thing that you can do is you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We really appreciate it. It helps people find the show. It helps the show growing. It helps build this community that is Nintendo Cartridge Society.
Right. I mean, when we named the show Nintendo Cartridge Society, I think we just liked the way it sounded. But now we've committed ourselves to being part of a society, right? A society, I don't believe, can just be two guys, right?
No, it shouldn't be.
No, that's a bad society. So yes, if you rate and if you review the show, then it gets floated up in the algorithm and other people will discover it, and that's good.
And if you leave us a review, we in the US Apple Podcast Store, we will give you a shout out on the show. If you leave us a review anywhere else, just let us know. You can send us an email or hit us up on Twitter. We would love to give you a shout out. We really genuinely appreciate it when people review the show.
Yes. One other thing. Here's the other thing you can do. October is Game & Watch month. We are devoting most of our programming in the month of October to Nintendo's first portable piece of hardware, the Game & Watch. Mark and I have some ideas about what we're going to do. We've got some opinions about Game & Watch, but largely we're going into the deep end here. We're going for a little swimmy swim. And if anyone wants to provide us with any guidance or any of their opinions or anything like that that you want us to talk about during the month of October, let us know. Email us nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter. We're at NinCartSociety on Twitter. I'm really looking forward to Game & Watch month. I think there's a possibility that we're not going to know what we're talking about at all. But I think there's an even equally good chance that we'll be very well informed, thanks in no small part to our listeners.
Yeah, I feel like this is the poles that we travel between quite often, to be honest.
Either hyper informed or making it up as we go. Mark, speaking of both of those, let's get into it. Let's rank the characters from WarioWare. Get it together. Okay, Mark, WarioWare. There are 20 playable characters in this game. A high number of characters, but also the first time that there are playable characters in a Wario game,
Yeah.
a WarioWare game.
Yeah, that's right. So normally when in a WarioWare game, before WarioWare Get It Together, you were playing the micro games as yourself, basically, right? Like I don't know if
it's
you were,
hard to say.
I don't know if you were supposed to be Wario, but you're playing it like in the first person.
Yes,
You are picking the nose. You are shaving the armpit.
that's right.
But in WarioWare Get It Together, and there were always like little vignettes
Yes.
in the older games that would kind of like set up the micro games that you're about to play, or at least give a little framing device around the chaos that was about to ensue.
Right.
And it featured these characters, but WarioWare Get It Together is the first time that the characters are actually playable, that you are moving them, manipulating them on the screen in order to complete the micro game.
And that they all have discrete abilities. Like everyone is tackling the same micro games, but everyone moves differently. Everyone has like a different like attack, if you even want to call it that, just like a different extra ability on top of their ability to move around the screen, and all of those are different. The it's I've wanted to do a ranking of WarioWare characters in the past, but it always feels like it's just a little bit too abstract of an idea, or like that they're less characters and more just like excuses for sets of micro games. And I think really it is the great innovation of Get It Together that you have to control these characters, and while the game introduces you to them basically one at a time, you are then like playing as them one at a time until like they all get like shuffled together. So you start to have favorites like as you're playing, and like one of the characters will pop up and be like, oh no, he'll pop up in like a specific game, and you'll be stressed out about like, oh, wait, how do I do this one with this character? I feel like it goes a long way towards like creating bonds with the characters.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think also it gives some of the characters like an opportunity to shine in a way that they haven't before. Like even like just for an example, like Ashley and Red. So Ashley is like a young witch.
Yeah.
And then Red is always is like a little demon, like devil type character.
Yeah, he's like her sidekick, right?
Exactly.
Or possibly like her connection to the underworld or something.
Right. And so I never really like thought about Red that much. But
No.
Red is a playable character, like a separate from Ashley in this game. And so it like kind of gives Red me a new appreciation for Red, because like I always thought of them as a pair. It's like Rosalina and Illuma, but then by breaking them up, you're like, I can appreciate them as like discrete things.
Right, instead of as a package deal. There are still some of the characters in here that are essentially mirror image versions of each other, right? There are Kat and Anna, who are the ninjas that they both can't stop jumping, and they throw like little ninja stars. And Kat can only throw, she's the player one version of the character, and she always throws to the right, and Anna always throws to the left. And she's the player two version. And Dribble and Spitz are the same way, where they fly, and they shoot like a little cannon on the front of their taxi. Dribble always shoots to the right. Spitz always shoots to the left. But otherwise, everyone else feels like a totally different.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Smash Brothers a little bit, where like they introduce new characters, and you can see that like this is a character that can't stop moving. This is a character, that like hops around. So there are types, I feel like, within that, but each one is like a little bit different.
Yeah, well, and like we can see that with Cricket and Master Mantis, right? That Cricket, and I guess like even within the story, that Cricket is Master Mantis's like apprentice, right?
Mm-hmm.
That they have essentially the same move set, but when Master Mantis jumps high enough that he like hits the ceiling, he just like sticks to the ceiling and then he jumps from there. Like he basically reverses the gravity. But otherwise, like if you just don't hit any ceilings, he's the same as Cricket,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So like Cricket is just like a lesser version of him.
Well, I guess we should probably run down the 20 characters that we'll be going through.
Yeah, well, so we've got them printed out on little cards, and they are arranged on my dining room table, as is our wont when we do something like this. So let's just go back and forth, reading off the names of the characters, and then we can start to we can dig into describing them after that.
Sure. So starting with Red,
And then Anna,
and then Mona,
then Orbulon,
Cat,
Lulu,
5-volt,
Master Mantis,
Pioro,
Penny,
18-volt,
Dribble,
Cricket,
Wario,
Jimmy T,
Ashley,
Dr. Krygor,
Spitz,
Mike.
and 9-volt. So that may have sounded like just a bunch of nonsense.
Because it was.
Because it was a lot of nonsense. And like, it's also, how many times did we say volt during that? But so, I mean, like, how would you like to, I think we need to at least talk about every one of these characters. Just so we like know that we're on the same page and that we understand who we're talking about, what we're talking about.
I think so too.
And I think we start with the most obvious and the easiest, which is Wario. He is in his like he's not in the like overalls. He's not that version of Wario. He's wearing the like jean vest and like bright pink pants and his little pointy elf shoes. And kind of a crazy helmet with goggles on it.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but like this version of Wario is like fairly stylish. You would run into him at Trader Joe's, I feel like.
Yes. Oh, what 100%.
We've been in improv classes with this version of Wario, is what I'm saying.
I think we've been in improv classes with every version of Wario.
I mean, we've probably been in improv classes with everybody on this board.
That's true. Though, Mark, what a great point. Wario's movement in the game. Do we want to also talk about that?
Yeah.
As we go through all these characters, Wario's movement in the game. He has a jetpack, so he flies around freely, and you push the A button to make him dash forward, and that dash, is like his attack. It's how he beats stuff up. Do we also want to do just like quick gut check? Like, do you like the character? Do you not like the character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you like Wario?
Yeah, I like Wario. I think, man, I actually think this could be a little bit difficult just because
Yes.
there are few characters in the game. There are no characters in the game as well known as Wario.
Yeah.
But there are probably ones that I have more affinity for in their fleeting appearances. And so he's definitely in the upper echelon. I just don't know where exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like we almost have too few characters here to really put into tiers. Although I will eat those words later when we start doing it. But yeah, I know what you mean, that like everyone on this board is like at least charismatic.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think all of these designs are compelling. Some of them are very cute. And like I don't know, even the ones. What I find difficult is even the ones that I find kind of annoying to control, I think are very cool, like looking and aesthetically.
Yeah. No. I completely agree.
Okay, so I guess we've reached no conclusion. We're not starting any sort of ranking here. We're gonna be here all night.
Yeah, we like Wario is where we
like
came
Wario.
down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe we should try to do these characters in roughly the order you encounter them in the game. I think I can freestyle that.
Sure. Yeah.
And forgive us if we get something wrong. The next two characters you encounter in the game are Cricket and 18-volt. Cricket is like the young karate student. He is in other games referred to as young Cricket. This game just calls him Cricket. He wears like
this is like a little Bow Wow and Bow Wow situation.
I think you're probably right. He can move around the screen, run left to right, and he can jump very high by pressing the button. And then there's 18-volt.
18-volt is the schoolmate of 9-volt, and he is also in elementary school, or are they junior high age?
I think they're probably like 11 or 12. 18-volt seems older though, doesn't he?
Oh, totally. And I feel like that's like, he's they are elementary school age.
Okay.
And 18-volt is huge. 18-volt looks like a man. Do you know what 18-volt reminds me of? Is we just played earlier this year, Famicom Detective Club, The
Yes.
Girl Who Stands Behind, and there's a NPC in that, or a character you encounter in that, where they, at first you're like, are you a tennis coach? What is your deal?
Right.
And it just turns out that they're a very mature looking high school student.
Yes.
And 18 Volt definitely is like in that vein
Yeah.
of like character.
100%. He does the Billy Zane in Back to the Future thing, and he's wearing 3D glasses. Is that Billy Zane's character, or is it a different character in Back to the Future who's wearing 3D glasses?
I don't remember. He's also wearing a tracksuit that with like a medallion that says 18 on it. His hair, he looks like a Back to the Future 2 character.
Yeah, he
like
does.
His hair is wild. I like 18 Volt. Are we doing this for these characters?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay, all right.
Oh, and 18 Volt doesn't move. He just throws like the little like hairband thing.
Yeah.
Any direction that you're pointing the thumbstick.
I like 18 Volt more than I like Cricket. I think Cricket is cool, but is kind of more generic.
He's a little vanilla for
Yeah.
sure. Where you're just like, yeah, I get it. But you're not. The game is so weird that when you encounter someone so normal as Cricket, you're like, okay, but why?
Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Why aren't you weirder?
Yeah. 18 Volt is the perfect slice of weird in WarioWare for me, where you're like, why is he so big? Is this like a Jack situation? But
yeah, or a Benjamin Button situation.
Well, Benjamin Button, not to get too much into it,
please.
But Benjamin Button would not.
It depends on how long his life is.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Because I was gonna say, well, when he was in elementary school, he would
be an old man.
He would be way older than that, but I can't know that for sure. I don't know how long 18 Volt's lifespan is.
That's a good point. I think he's human, but that's the crazy thing about Benjamin Button is that like you know how long that character is gonna live, right? Or like you could estimate. Like if Benjamin Button comes out and he looks like a young man in his 20s, you're like, uh-oh.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But if he comes out and he's like an old wrinkly man, you're like, woo!
Yeah, lots of time.
You've got
nothing to worry about.
Like 85 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 18 Volt, we agree on that.
Yeah.
Cricket, we like, but caveat is
a little bit boring.
Little bit boring. Next you meet Mona. Mona, who wears what appears to be like a white overcoat, like cardigan sweater thing.
It like she's yes, it looks like she's wearing like a sweater mini dress and a lab coat.
Yeah, well, but it's definitely not a lab coat though, because she's not a scientist.
For sure, she is a high school student.
Yes,
who in the WarioWare history has had many jobs.
Yes,
she has like all part-time. She worked for a pizza joint. She was a pizza delivery girl for Mona Pizza, so maybe she was also a small business owner. But a cheerleader.
But only part-time?
A temple explorer, a photojournalist. She lives a rich life, Mona.
Yes. And in Mona's story in this game, first of all, she's living in this house that is huge. She lives in this huge house with 3 pets, and the pets are like a pig, a monkey, and an elephant or something like that. And she tries to leave them alone, but they keep making a mess in the house. So she can't do that anymore. Mona rides around on her moped. That's like part of her character thing, but also part of how she controls. She won't stop moving when she's on this moped. Or she will stop moving when she throws a boomerang that you then have to control. It won't stop moving. She's wearing a big red helmet, safety first, and goggles. Mark, I gotta say, I really like Mona.
I really like Mona too. I also think Mona's probably like one of the most iconic characters to come out of WarioWare.
Yeah. I think she does have stiff competition in the form of Ashley.
Yeah, for
who
sure.
we will get to later. But yeah, Mona's an icon.
Mona's an icon. Mona is a look. You're like, you want to hate her because obviously she's super rich, has life given to her on a silver spoon. But
she works for it.
But she does. She puts in the time.
Right.
I mean, true. Does she need it? No. So she's dabbling. She's like, what would it be like to own my own pizzeria and then deliver pizzas? I can find out because I'm filthy rich.
Right.
But she's cool. You want to be her for sure.
You do want to be her. Mark, I feel like I'm starting to see tears emerging in our conversation.
Oh, I thought you meant in my
No.
eyes as I well up green with envy
Yes, that's right.
talking about Mona.
No, I feel like Mona is in. We've already called her an icon.
Uh-huh.
We agree on it.
Yep.
I feel like we now have an icon tier. We have a we like them tier,
Mhm.
and we have a we like them, but they're a little bit boring tier.
We said we weren't going to do it, but of course
But of course we are.
we have tiers. Yeah, I agree. Mona for sure, icon status.
Mona icon status. Wario and 18-volt in the we like them.
Mona just makes it look so effortless.
She does. It's true. And also, like, I don't know that a boomerang has ever been part of her like thing before. But it makes sense, and like she just looks cool throwing it around.
I mean, of course, she did a walkabout with the Aboriginals, and so
she did.
She learned from the, she learned from the source.
Maybe she is too
like.
rich for her own game. Okay. This is where I might start to get it wrong, but I believe you encounter Kat and Anna next. They are the ninja sisters. I think they're sisters.
They're sisters.
They hop around and they throw ninja stars. They are the player 1, player 2 versions of the same character. So we reach our first like conceptual crisis.
Right.
Do we rate them as different characters?
I don't know that I can because like this is the first time that they have been separated.
Yes.
Because normally, you encounter them in a level or world together. What I like,
which is still true in this game.
Yeah.
Right. And they're still
that is true.
They're
That's
still
true.
functionally the same character, just because if you're player 2, you will always be Anna. If you're Kat, if you're player 1, you will always be Kat.
I mean, so a couple of things that I think are interesting about WarioWare characters in general is a lot of them are really young. Like Kat and Anna are kindergarten age.
Yes. They're children.
And I also like that their name is like a play on katana. I think that's fun.
Oh, I like that too.
But really, if we were going to try to separate them, it would be purely on like
on aesthetics. Kat is pink, Anna is orange. I guess those are really the only aesthetics to them. I think I put them in the same tier as each other, first of all. And then as Cricket as well.
I think so too.
I think they're fun. I think the fact that they're young probably makes them more interesting than Cricket. Younger than the young Cricket. But they're just like ninja characters.
Yeah.
Like how interesting could they possibly be? So we put them down here in the Cricket category. Next, and I think I'm already wrong, but let's go with Dr. Krygor next.
I love Dr. Krygor.
Dr. Krygor is so strange, and he's a mainstay of the WarioWare
That's
games.
right.
A lot of these guys are, but like once you encounter Dr. Krygor in WarioWare Get It Together, he's like a constant presence in the story beats, trying to explain what's going on, being confused. For some reason, he's swimming through this game. He's one where like the moveset doesn't make any sense, but it's like, okay.
So to describe Dr. Krygor, I want to get into like his history a little bit because I like it a lot. But we should describe him. So he is an like bionic man. What would you call that?
Yeah, I think
he's a cyborg.
He's a cyborg
because he has like robot pieces melded onto him. Like his head is half skin tone, half blue, where he has like a metal plate in it. He's wearing this like yellow one-piece like jumpsuit, like Britney Spears in "Hit Me Baby One More Time," except it's yellow. And
instead of that was a red jumpsuit.
Red jumpsuit. Yep.
I was thinking more like the bride from Kill Bill.
Oh yes. He has one like pigeon-toed foot. He wears like a metal glove on his left hand.
Mark, you're missing this, like the visor.
Oh yeah,
which is the most distinct part of his face. It's a big green visor. He looks like if Cyclops from the X-Men and Kano from Mortal Kombat were like mashed together and like had a mustache.
Yeah,
right. And like a big red clown nose. He's so strange.
I also like that he's doing a little bit of like a booty pop. I don't know if that's because of his like pigeon foot, but he's Tuchin, as they would say on America's Next Top Model, as Tyra Banks would say.
You said you wanted to get into his history.
Here
Do
we
you
go.
know
Here we
something
go.
about
Yeah.
his history? That
MarioWiki.com.
yes.
Dr. Krygor is a quirky scientist who performs wacky and mostly harmless experiments on his private island laboratory in Diamond City. He is 103 years old
Wow.
and is a cyborg, having various robotic components, though whether they were given him because of aging or debilitating experiment is unknown. Krygor not only constructed a cryogenic suit for himself, but has also invented various vehicles, programmed the karaoke robot Mike into, quote, the robot that would solve all his cleaning needs, quote, unquote, and created a diet machine called the Calorometer. I love it. I love Dr. Krygor.
Yeah, I did not know that he's 103 years old.
No.
That's an old man
Dr. Krygor goes in the Mona category of icon.
in the icon.
Yeah.
I'll agree. I feel like he's probably the bottom of the icon category for me, but I'll agree that he goes in icon. Next, things are getting fuzzy. I don't remember anything. So let's just start randomly not randomly-ish. Let's do 9-volt next. 9-volt is 18-volt's friend. He skateboards. He wears like a yellow helmet that either looks like a sad fish or like a construction hard hat with like headphones on it. It's hard to say. 9-volt is obsessed with old Nintendo games.
Yeah, all of the micro games that you encounter in 9-volt stages are based on old Nintendo games,
which immediately endears him to me. Like I love that part of the WarioWare franchise.
I look forward to his levels every game.
Here's the rub, though. He's my least favorite character to control in WarioWare Get It Together.
Yes.
So, because he's on a skateboard, he will not stop skating. So he just keeps going back and forth. You have no control over it. And his move is to attack straight up with a yo-yo. And so sometimes you got to like grab a ring with that yo-yo to like move him somewhere else. And sometimes you're trying to attack stuff. But it feels like you are truly out of control when 9-volt is on your team.
Yep.
So I don't know what to do with that, because if he controlled like any other character and was still 9-volt, I'd say icon, no question.
So for me, right now I want to put him in the same category as Wario and 18-volt.
Sure.
I can definitely see the argument for him being like nebulously in between icon tier and this like we like them tier, but for now I feel better about putting him in we like them tier.
All right, great. I will agree with that. Let's also, while we're at it, deal with you mentioned Dr. Krygor's karaoke robot Mike.
Yeah, that's right. So he's named for the microphones that are on top of his head.
Sure.
He's a karaoke robot, but despite that, is also a cleaning robot.
Which bum rap for a karaoke robot, right?
For sure, yeah. Talk about not fulfilling your purpose.
Yeah, all he wants to do is sing. And Dr. Krygor's like, no, mop the place. What? I like Mike a lot. I think he's very funny. His voice, like his like deadpan vocal delivery is very like it's very funny to me. The way he controls, he flies around the screen sort of freely, and fires music notes out of his mouth straight up into the air.
Yeah, Mike is one of the characters that when I get him in WarioWare, Get It Together, I'm like, perfect.
Yeah,
like this guy can do anything.
Right. So what do you think? I like him. I don't know if he belongs in the icon category.
I don't think he belongs in the icon category. I'm not even sure he belongs in like the we got to think of a better name for like the Wario category.
I mean, should we just call that A tier at this point?
Yeah, A tier.
And the S tier is the icon category.
Yeah.
And we are not labeling the Cat, Anna, and Cricket category yet. That could be B. It could be C.
Yeah, we don't know. But I tend to put them. I tend to put Mike probably with like Cat and Anna.
I feel like I like more than Cat and Anna.
Okay.
So I almost want to suggest that Cat, Anna, and Young Cricket are in the C tier.
Okay.
And Mike is blazing a brand new trail in the B tier.
I think that's fair because I feel like now might be a good time to talk about Master Mantis.
Okay. Oh yeah, Yes.
because so Master Mantis as a character design, I like quite a bit.
Yes.
He's like an old ninja master. Um,
Yeah, not to keep going back to Kill Bill, but he's definitely got like the aesthetic of the master that she trains with in part 2.
hi.
Just like the old ancient, the master who's probably been out in the woods training for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Like no one knows how old he is. He doesn't. You can't see his hands. His sleeves are so big, and he's got these big poofy balls of hair on his head.
Yeah, there's just something about the character design that I find really endearing.
Yeah.
And I think I like him. So his movement in the game is very much like Cricket's movement in the game, but like you said, Patrick, when he hits like this, when he jumps and hits the ceiling, the gravity like switches, so he can run on top of the ceiling and then drop down,
Right.
which Cricket cannot do. And so I think Master Mantis would go in the same category as Mike for me.
Sure. I agree with that 100%. Do you think that Cricket like abstractly has the ability to like run around on the ceiling? He
I
just
think he
hasn't
could get
learned
there
it yet.
some. Yes, I
Yeah,
think he could
yeah.
get there someday if he studies as hard as Master Mantis.
This is great. I love this. We're doing so good here. Next, let's deal with Dribble and Spitz. They are the cat and dog co-owners of a cab company. They in the game they are identical characters, just the player 1, player 2 versions of them. Where they are flying around in these little taxis with a free range of like flight, and one of them shoots. Dribble shoots to the right. He's the player 1 version. Spitz is the player 2 version. Shoots to the left. How do you feel about Dribble and Spitz?
So I like them as a duo a lot. I think so. Dribble's like a big bulldog, like
Yeah.
physically very large. Spitz is like a little cat. In the game, they speak with like a New York, like Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they drive cabs.
yeah, they drive a cab. They're speed demons. I think they're fun. Personally, I kind of like Spitz more.
So do I. I think Spitz is an A tier character, but I think Dribble is a B tier.
Yeah,
character.
I think so too. And I think it's something about like
it's not fair, but it's true.
well, Spitz's design has more like character to it.
Yeah.
Like it feels a little more cheeky.
Yeah.
Whereas Dribble is a nicely drawn bulldog.
I understand that Spitz is the cat and Dribble is the dog, but Dribble to me feels like a design from what was the name of that show where the SWAT Cats? Remember SWAT Cats?
No.
It was like a pair of cat brothers who ran a junkyard, but then could like use the junk in the yard to like build robots or like jets and stuff and like save the city.
I don't remember.
That's what Dribble makes me think of, even though he's a dog. But okay, so Dribble, we're gonna say goes in the B tier. Spitz feels weird to be splitting up a duo character like this, but I think it's right.
Fair is fair.
Fair is fair. Whatever that means. Let's address now Jimmy T.
Okay. So Jimmy T is like afro, where he has a blue afro.
Yep.
He is wearing bell bottoms.
He's like a classic 70s disco dude.
Yes, totally.
Right? He's wearing big white sunglasses. And like is his shirt open? Is he wearing a shirt? I think he's
yeah, it's unclear.
He's either wearing like a salmon jacket or that's his shirt.
Yep.
And it's just open in the middle.
He loves to dance.
Loves to dance.
Yeah.
New wrinkle in WarioWare Get It Together. His dance has like a workout component to it. So like there's almost a little like Richard Simmons to him in this iteration of Jimmy T.
Which feels like a fitting conclusion for Jimmy T. Like if we never saw Jimmy T again, I'd be like, yep, that makes sense. That'd be the end of his story.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's his natural progression. Yeah, in the game, he can't move. Like he can't run around the ground. He can dash in any direction that you want. But he, it's a little less precise. Than other characters. But he can really zoom around the board.
I don't really like his movement, but I like Jimmy T as a character very much.
It's also hard for me to let go of the version of Jimmy T from WarioWare Smooth Moves.
With the cats?
With the cats.
Yes.
Where like he's on his way home and there's like a cat that like appears and he's like, hey, cat. And then like other cats start following him. And the whole story is just that like there are a bunch of cats.
And then they start dancing.
And then they start
They're
dancing.
all dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is prime Jimmy T to me. And for that reason,
Icon.
I want to put him in icon. I don't know how like high an icon he can go,
Right.
but I like Jimmy T very much.
I feel like he's a soft icon. Let's put him in the icon category. Also at this point, I think we need to address Orbulon. Orbulon is he's an alien. He is an alien who came to Earth in a little flying saucer. And in WarioWare Get It Together, his whole thing is traveling the globe and finding the bits of culture from around the world and stealing them. Which is ambitious, but fundamentally evil. But he's an alien who like came to Earth and isn't, murdering everyone. So like, I guess
Who are
that's
we
nice.
to put our morality structures
Yeah.
on a being from another planet like Orbulon? Orbulon. When I see Orbulon, I think of the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones.
Is that points in his favor or points against him? I can't tell.
I get not really either.
Mm.
It's just what I think of when I see him. Even though like his design is not that similar to the Great Gazoo. He's not green. He doesn't have a big bulbous head. He has like this weird like almost like squid like.
Yeah, he's got like a tentacle on his head almost.
Yeah,
that just like sticks straight up. Yeah, I think. Mark, tell me if this rings true to you. I think he's soft.
yeah.
I think his body is like a little squishy.
I think so. A little Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, there we go.
Um,
He wears sunglasses.
he
I
does
think.
wear. Yes.
Are those his eyes?
We don't
know.
I can't say for sure. It does seem like they're reflecting.
Yeah.
Although that could be how his eyes
Right.
deal with sunlight. I just don't like him as much as Spitz, and
Mhm.
so I feel like at least a tier down, maybe the same tier as Dribble.
Okay,
for me.
let's put him in the B tier. I gotta say that I do just like that he's an alien.
Yes.
Like there's something very attractive about that
Mm-hmm.
to me. All right, Mark, going back to the board here, I think we need to address 5-volt.
5-volt is 9-volt's mom.
Yes. And I believe we are first introduced to her in the I don't remember which WarioWare game it is, but it's it's in the like version, it's in the mini game where you have to stop playing the games when she comes into your bedroom, like you're 9-volt and you're asleep.
Yeah,
playing games under the covers.
if you've the WarioWare level in Super Smash Brothers features 5-volt, right? Like because you're in the bedroom and you see 5-volt, like the mom like stalking around, and
Right.
then occasionally will come into the room and you have to hide behind. You have to be hidden behind an object so like her like eye rays don't kill you, don't hurt you in Smash Brothers.
Right. And so like this functionality that then like determines what her gameplay style is in this game, it's sort of like born out of this setup, right? Of like you're trying to do something without her seeing you. Because you're for some reason scared of your mother of 5-volt. And so the way that takes form in this game is she's always sleeping, but you control like a little ghost, a little spectral version of her that can.
I guess she's like astral projecting.
She's
probably.
astral projecting, yeah. And then you can like teleport her physical being to that location, at which point she becomes this like demon version of herself. And there's like an explosion of energy, and then she falls to the ground and falls asleep.
I like 5-volt.
I like 5-volt a lot.
But I don't know.
I don't think she's an icon.
I don't think so either, but definitely in like the Wario like A tier category.
Yeah. There's also the animation of her when she wins a micro game. She just sort of like rocks back and forth, smiles, and applauds.
There is something
it's very charming.
There's something that I like a lot about this dichotomy that they play up between like the very like maternal, motherly, like aspects of her character, and then whatever is happening to her when she is teleporting around.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're about to talk about witches and literal devils, but this woman is experiencing something. So I say we put her in the A tier.
Yeah.
And be willing to let her climb if
Yes, I
if
think I
climb
think
she
so
does.
too. We're praying for you, 5 Volt.
I we need to get her like an exorcist or something.
Yeah.
Next up, let's go with Ashley.
So Ashley, I think, is an icon for sure. She's a young
Yeah.
witch in training, um, who owns her own mansion. Again, with these young characters who are owning real estate.
Right.
But for whatever reason, like I'm guessing, it feels to me that Ashley's is probably ill-gotten, like some sort of swap with the devil,
Oh,
some
probably.
sort
Yeah.
of yeah.
Yeah.
But like in a fun way.
Yeah, of course. All of the bad things that happen in WarioWare are in a fun way. Yeah, Ashley is spooky.
Hmm.
She's creepy. She refuses to let anyone know that she cares at all about
Yes.
anything.
Uh-huh.
She's got big black hair and like two big like ponytails sticking out of her head. She rides a broom. She's a legit witch.
She's very, I would say, like you get Aubrey Plaza energy.
Yes. Yes, 100%. Um I don't see her going anywhere but in the icon
No,
category.
Ashley's great. Ashley's super lovable.
Ashley is one of the WarioWare characters that I feel like could someday anchor her own video game.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't an Ashley game be fun?
That would be, yeah.
So let's put her in icon.
Okay.
Oh, and the way she controls in the game is she flies freely and she can fire like magic bolts in whatever direction she's facing, which makes her also super useful while playing the game.
So, should we talk about Lulu?
Sure, let's talk about Lulu.
Only because Lulu is a character that like has not been part of WarioWare that long. I think the first time we encounter her is WarioWare Gold.
That might be right. I don't have a lot of who is she?
Yeah. No, that's a great let me find her
Yeah,
in
let's look her
the
up.
Mario wiki.
Meanwhile, I will describe what she looks like. She definitely appears to be a child.
Yeah.
And has a big red bow in her hair, and is otherwise wearing like an overall dress or overall skirt or something. Like it's borderline Mario, but like a dress instead of
Oh, yeah.
right.
Mhm. She
Who?
has like the gloves and everything.
Yeah, she's got the gloves and everything too.
So this is the Mario wiki. It says Lulu is the self-proclaimed hero of Luxville, first appearing in WarioWare Gold. She is seen throughout the game trying to reclaim the golden pot Wario stole from Luxville, eventually confronting him after he becomes Wario Deluxe. And get it together, she is seen as an employee of WarioWare Inc.
Okay, so she's really just like a challenger to Wario's throne.
Yeah.
I think makes her sort of uninteresting.
I think so too, and I think the fact that she has such a short history with the game, with like the series,
Yeah.
I don't know, to me she's probably like what are we calling this, C tier
Yeah,
with Cat and Anna.
Cat and Anna and Cricket. I think it's possible we found our bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like I think this may be the
Yeah. I
bottom
feel
of
really
the
like
list.
dispassionate about Lulu.
Yeah, well, and like she's got this like determined like grin on her face and freckles, and I'm like, I don't need that. Get that Annie, Little Orphan Annie garbage out of here. I don't need it.
I think I'm gonna like it
Nope,
here.
nope. Let's do Red next.
Okay, so Red is the companion for Ashley in most of the games. In this game, has his own agency. You play him, not like talent agency, just like you
right,
play.
he has.
Yes, he has.
Yes.
He's a separate character from Ashley.
Faculty.
Yeah. Little like raindrop looking demon.
I mean, close your eyes. Picture a devil. You got it.
Picture a devil with like a raindrop for a head, a really fat raindrop for a head, like a Hershey's Kiss.
Carrying a little trident pitchfork.
Yep. Like cute.
I think B tier.
I think B tier probably, mostly on aesthetics.
Yeah, I mean he gets points for being a devil. That's cool.
Wearing pants though.
Is he?
Yeah, he can. Yep, wearing pants.
All right, let's just throw him off the list.
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that's a good thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one step closer to being able to go into a McDonald's.
Right. I mean, he's wearing shoes too, or at least like the pants cover the bottoms
Well,
of his
no
feet.
shoes, no service.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that he's sort of wearing shoes, so he can go into the but no shirt.
No shirt.
No shirt.
That we can see.
I don't think he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah, I think probably not.
Next, let's do Penny.
So Penny is the granddaughter of Dr. Krygor.
Yeah. So she is a like mad scientist in her own right, except her mad science-ness is just a lot more helpful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even a mad scientist, just like a regular old scientist who invents things.
Yeah, I mean, she like hearts is kind of her thing. On her
Yep.
lab coat, she has hearts. She has like a heart barrette in
Mm-hmm.
her hair. I like Penny. I feel like Penny is Lulu done right.
Ooh, interesting.
Has like, is very cute. The drawing of her is like really cute, but it is endearing in a way that like Lulu is not.
Yeah, I also really like the just like character of like the child of the mad scientist. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's something about like not the games ever really deal with this, but like wrestling with the legacy of you come from mad
Well,
scientist stock.
that's totally true because she also her secret desire
Mm.
is to be a great singer. And so I feel like she has this very
Just like Mike.
she has this very like anime like, thing
Mm-hmm.
where it's like
Like an idol.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. A secret idol.
Yeah, secret idol.
Mhm.
Secret idol, but also like science genius. I like Penny a lot. Is she an icon? Probably
No.
not. I think she's A tier.
Yeah, I think she's A tier. She just doesn't have the legacy, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably right. She is a legacy, but
Mhm.
does not have the legacy. Which leaves us now finally with uh Pioro. How do we say this character's name?
Pyoro is but who knows? It's Pyoro.
He's a little red bird, and he sticks out his tongue a la Yoshi. Um, I believe canonically in these games, he is a video game character within the world of like that the WarioWare characters exist in.
Okay.
Um, and is usually like and in the world of WarioWare Get It Together is the Pioro game is coming out on the same day that Wario hopes to launch his game. So he's the competition. You fight the very end of WarioWare Get It Together is you are playing against Pioro. And you have all the other characters have to unite against him and fight him, and then of course he becomes a character that you can use. For a bird, he doesn't have a lot of mobility. He walks back and forth and spits his tongue out at a
Mhm.
45-degree angle. It bounces around the room until it finds purchase, and that's how Pioro works.
I like Pyoro. I
Yeah,
think his design is pretty cute.
yeah, I think so too. I think probably B tier.
Yeah, probably
Okay,
B tier.
okay. Um, this is great, Mark. We've sorted everyone into tiers now. We've only been at this for 45 minutes. Okay. Would you like to start at the bottom?
I think that's a fine place to start.
So in our C tier, we've got the following characters: Cat, Anna, Lulu, and Cricket.
Yeah, I think no contest Lulu is the bottom for me.
Yeah, I think that's right. I can't imagine putting any of them below her.
I can't either.
And then I think probably Cricket next. Oh,
I mean I the thing about this level, like this tier, is I feel almost nothing for
yeah,
most
for
of
any
these
of them, yeah.
characters. For me, like Kat and Anna would be next, and like Cricket would be like the top of the worst. But really, I could go either way.
Yeah, it's sort of splitting hairs. What if we break up Cat and Anna and put
Just for
Cricket
the
in the
heck
middle?
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I of sure, why not? Of Cat and Anna, do you have a preference? I do.
What's your preference?
I prefer Cat.
Tell me why, because that's where I was leaning too.
So I don't know if I can articulate it.
It's the hair for me, and I
It's
don't.
yeah.
And it's not like the color of the hair. It is not the fact that she has like one tuft rather than two. I think what it is the severe like bangs.
Yeah, the straight bangs.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. I also just like that she is her outfit is like pink with a blue accent, whereas Anna's is blue with a pink accent.
Anna's looks more like pajamas.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then we'll put Cricket in the middle because we are
can.
indifferent.
Right.
Yep.
And then Cat goes at the top of this tier. Lulu, Anna, Cricket, Cat. That's 2019, 18, 17.
Okay.
Feel good about that so
Feel
far?
good about it.
Okay. Next, we move up to the B tier, which is where we start to actually get a few characters in play here. So we've got Pyoro, Red, Orbulon, Dribble, Master Mantis, and Mike.
It's kind of crazy the jump in quality from
Yeah.
the previous tier to the B tier.
Yeah, I already care way more.
Me too, 100%. That being said,
Dribble.
I think so.
Yeah. Sorry, Dribble. You're a cool, like, New Jersey dog, but like,
I mean, Brooklyn.
I mean, who knows?
Next for me probably is either Master Mantis or Red.
Red is a devil. I just want to remind you,
Yes.
he's a devil. So I think it's got to be Master Mantis.
Okay.
I like Master Mantis. I think he's cool, but I mean, there's something so like we've been saying, just sort of like vanilla about
Yeah.
him and Cricket. I feel like he can be our number 16 there, 15, I guess. And then you think Red. I see. This is where I may insert Pioro. I don't know. There's something about him grabbing stuff with his tongue.
It just reminds me of Jar Jar Binks when they're eating dinner at
Oh, so number 1
at Anakin. Yeah, I mean that's not a judgment. It's just like that whenever I see this sort of behavior, I immediately think of Jar Jar Binks when they're eating dinner on Tatooine with Anakin and his mom.
And Qui-Gon grabs his tongue out of the air. Yeah.
How wooed. Yeah, I think so. I actually think the illustration that we have of Pioro on the table is not like Pioro at his best.
Yeah, I agree. I think actually the design of Pioro in the game is quite good. Is a good representation, like an attractive representation of that character.
But that feels right to me. Also, I know I put Red up there for next, but I'm kind of actually leaning towards Mike maybe a little bit.
Tell me why.
It's more not anything against Mike than it is like I think I like Orbulon and Red more than I like Mike.
Sure.
And so it's just Mike's turn.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's almost like an invisible tier line here, right? Where like Pioro and Master Mantis, I like to some degree, but like Mike, Orbulon, and Red, I think are all cool characters.
I really like them Orbulon. I can't remember if we talked about this before, but I really like that he's wearing a cape.
Yeah.
I like an alien in a cape.
Did not talk about it. It is he threads the needle, right? Of like on one side of the needle is like majestic and stateliness, and on the other side is goofy. Right?
Yeah, he's the Liberace of aliens.
You nailed it. I think he's the top of this tier. And then we can put Mike next, and then Red. And Red.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So from the bottom to the top right now, we've got Lulu at number 20, Anna 19, Cricket 18, Cat 17, Dribble 16, Master Mantis 15, Pioro 14, Mike 13, Red 12, and Orbulon at number 11. I feel good about this so far. Okay. Now we have to start dealing with the A tier, which I believe is our biggest tier. But let's have a look.
But it must be close. Maybe by like 1.
Yeah, or maybe it's the exact same as the previous one. All right, so we've got 18 volt, 9 volt, Wario, Penny, Spitz, and 5 volt. All the volts in this category. I did not realize that.
I didn't realize that either.
We were sorting them all into the exact same place.
Well, I will tell you that my favorites from this category offhand are 18 volt Spitz and 5 volt probably.
Yeah, I think. Did I say Wario was in this category too?
I think you did.
Yeah, okay. I think my favorite in this is 5 volt.
Okay.
A relative newcomer to the series as being like a major like player. But there is something so fun about using her spectral visage to.
I just worry she's in pain every time it happens.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that shouldn't necessarily affect the rating.
I mean, honestly, that makes me like her more.
She's committed to the cause.
That's right.
Okay, so yeah, there's just something about like that's so cheeky about Spitz.
Yeah, I like Spitz a lot.
I feel like it conveys so much attitude just purely in the character design.
Yeah, it's amazing the distance we're putting between Spitz and Dribble. It's huge. But I think for my money, those two are the top of the ticket.
Okay.
Here. Which means we got to deal. Who is next best? or next, who is the worst among the following four? 18 volt, 9 volt, Wario, and Penny. This may be where Wario goes, frankly.
This might be where Wario goes.
Wario goes at number 10 on our WarioWare Get It Together.
Yeah, it's like for me a
Character ranking.
little bit of Wario goes a long way.
Yeah.
And Wario's a little bit too rude for me.
Yes, I mean we have pretty strong anti-rudeness biases on the show, so that makes sense to me. That Wario goes in at number 10. Now we've got 18 volt, 9 volt, and Penny.
It's weird because I like 9 volt a lot as a character.
Yeah, me too.
And so I don't want to undervalue 9 volt. But when you're stacking them next to each other and just like looking at it,
Yeah.
like 18 volts illustration, Penny's illustration tell me so much more about the character than like 9 volt illustration, I feel like.
Yeah, it's so if we had done this exercise a week ago before this game came out, I would say 9 volt is in the top 3.
So annoying to control though.
He's so annoying to control. And like I don't think this drawing of him, the one that we're using, which is sort of like the main like 9 volt art, key art for this game, I don't think it does him any favors
Yeah.
really. He's got these weird, are those like sideburns that he's got? He's kind of got a starburns thing going on. I don't know. It breaks my heart a little bit, but I feel like it probably goes for me after Wario, 18 volt, 9 volt, Penny. Like I think that's the order.
Okay. Okay.
Like I think I like Penny more than I like 9 volt in this game.
Yeah, it's so weird. Penny wasn't even on my radar coming into this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we were doing this pure, almost just like from memory, I would say 9 volt all the way. But like looking at it, having it laid out like this, I agree with you. I think that's a good call.
Okay. So 18 volt, 9 volt, Penny, and then we just need to decide who we like better among Spitz and 5 volt.
I do like that 5 volt has this kind of like demure, like who me thing going on.
I'm just the mom.
Yeah, and then can do the most like cool and horrifying thing at the same time.
I mean, when she teleports, there are horns on her head. Her teeth become pointy. She's possessed by an Oni demon. Like I think it's got to be Spitz and then 5 volt.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Do we before we launch into the S tier, which are only 4 characters. We've only got 4 characters in there. I think we need to sort of review what we have here and make sure, do a little gut check, right? Is there anyone that we undervalued, anyone that we've overvalued, anything like that? So let's just go from the bottom. Mark.
Okay. Lulu.
Anna.
Cricket.
Cat.
Dribble.
Master Mantis.
Pioro.
Mike.
Red.
Orbulon.
Wario.
18 volt.
9 volt.
Penny.
Spitz.
5 volt.
I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's rock solid.
I do want to shout out Orbulon's name. It's such a good name for an alien.
Oh my god, it's such a good name
it's
for an
alien. It's so fun
alien.
to say.
Orbulon.
Orbulon.
Hold on. Is it possible that I like Orbulon better than Wario?
For me,
he's a little alien.
He's wearing a cape.
Look, and they're very similar characters when you think about it, right? They both are greedy. They're collecting stuff. One of the things I actually really liked about like Orbulon's cutscene in this game that like introduces his micro games is that he's traveling around to the different levels that Wario visits in Super Mario Land 3. So like it's just it's a fun little like tie-in that like, oh, they're after the same treasures.
I don't think I like Orbulon as much as I like Wario.
Okay, all right. Were there any flags that popped up here for you where you feel good about it?
I feel pretty good about it.
Okay, all right. The S tier of characters, we've got Ashley, the witch in training. We've got Jimmy T, the dancing fitness guru. We've got Mona, who is
she's rich.
She's rich. And Dr. Krygor, the cyborg super scientist.
I like Dr. Cry. I like all of these. This is actually kind of hard for me because I like all of these characters quite a bit.
Yeah, I like all these characters quite a bit too. I feel like Krygor is next for me.
Okay.
Is my number 4. If for no other reason than like he's a mad scientist, right?
I know, but I like that his experiments are kind of just like harmless, and he's doing it on his own little island.
True,
Like he's
true.
not. He doesn't. He doesn't have intentions to take over the world or anything. He's a mad scientist in the sense that he's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But compared to the other three characters, I agree with you that he's not quite as iconic.
He's just a little less charismatic to me.
Yeah,
Like
yep.
I can't really pinpoint it. Mona, Jimmy T, and Ashley. Who's going to be number 3? Who's going to be number 2? Who's going to be number 1?
I love the sequence in Smooth Moves with Jimmy T and the cats.
It's an all-timer. It
Yeah.
is a sequence in a video game that I think about more than I think about anything that happened in The Last of Us.
It's burned into my mind in the sense that, like, to this day, when Jimmy T shows up in a WarioWare game and is not associated with cats, which is all the other games, basically.
There is a little cat stuff in this one, but
Oh.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right.
That I'm disappointed because
Yes.
I like anticipate it will happen whenever Jimmy T is on screen. But I think I like him more than I like Ashley.
Whoa. Oh boy. I think you like Jimmy T more than you like Ashley.
I like that Jimmy T is
Yeah.
just he loves to dance and he does
Mhm.
not care who knows it. Whereas Ashley is like very like deadpan. And
Yes.
that can be fun, but I think like who would I want to hang out with more? Probably Jimmy T.
He's gonna make you dance, Mark.
He would throw away our relationship for an opportunity to dance. That is true.
With some disco cats, and like you would know that he would be off having a great time. But I guess like if we're gonna go down that road, what's it like to be friends with Ashley? She's gonna turn you into like a palm tree or something. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
It's not gonna be a super fun existence. So I can concede that Jimmy T is perhaps a better character than Ashley. I still think Ashley is solely the only cast member here that could hold their own game besides Wario.
I will say if we're coming down to
Although
brass
if it's
tacks,
a rhythm game, I don't know.
although if we're coming down to brass tacks and it's like, who do I enjoy controlling more in this game and get it together?
Mhm.
That's Ashley.
Right.
It's just more fluid. It's just
Yeah.
more like when she shows up in my team, it's like, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, Ashley is one of the all-around like MVPs just in terms of control because she flies around freely and she shoots in any direction she wants. Which makes her just useful
Yeah.
and intuitive. You don't have to think about, "Oh, how do I do this?" You just do it. Jimmy T, as we discussed before, is dashing around. He's a lot less precise.
More frustrating to control for sure.
More frustrating to control for sure.
So yeah, I think Jimmy T, Ashley is the next.
So you're saying Jimmy T above Dr. Prygor?
Yeah.
Okay, is our number 3. Ashley number 2?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put her there at least tentatively for now, which means that we are sort of putting Mona at number 1. We're putting her at number 1. Let's discuss it. When describing Mona before, we did lean in a lot to the fact that she appears to come from money.
Yeah. I mean, she has the perfect life.
She does have the perfect little life.
I mean, do I want to be Mona? Do I wish that I was living Mona's life? Yes.
I mean, do I wish I owned her moped and like this cool this cool helmet? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's sort of incredible. I don't know. I really like Mona. I don't know what else to say. Like, she's just a good character.
Do you know what she what is Reese Witherspoon's character in Legally Blonde named?
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Her energy to me is like Reese Witherspoon in Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like bubbly, easy to be perceived as ditzy, but so competent that like it overrules that. Yeah, I mean she's a font of knowledge and positivity. Like I don't know how we put her anywhere but in the top 3. I think you could make an argument for any of our 3 to be reshuffled, but I think she's a star.
Yeah, I think so too.
And she was the first one that we called out as an icon, right? All right, Mark, let's talk this one from the bottom to the top. Make sure that we agree with what we've got. I think we're probably locked in. I will start. Number 20, Lulu.
Number 19, Anna.
Number 18, Young Cricket.
Number 17, Cat.
Number 16, Dribble.
Number 15, Master Mantis.
Number 14, Pioro.
Number 13, Mike.
Number 12, Red.
Number 11, Orbulon.
Number 10, Wario.
Number 9, 18 Volt.
Number 8, 9 Volt.
Number 7, Penny.
Number 6, Spitz.
Number 5, 5 Volt.
Hey, I love that coincidence. Number 4, Dr. Krygor.
Number 3, Jimmy T.
Number 2, Ashley.
And number 1 is Mona.
Yeah, I want, usually when we get to this point in the list, I want to, futz with it a little bit. I want to, move a couple things around.
Totally. This would be the time where we're like, do you know what? Actually, Lulu's probably number 1.
But honestly, the only places where my heart is pulling at me right now is 9 Volt that I gotta do right by my boy and just catapult him ahead. But I'm also a little bit do I want to switch 5 Volt and Dr. Krygor?
Oh, interesting.
Because I think I like the mom possessed by a demon.
I think you might be right.
More
I
than
think
Dr.
5
Krygor.
Volt definitely above Dr. Krygor. I think that's fair. And I would possibly do 9 Volt in place of Dr. Krygor and just kind of push everybody down a little bit.
I mean that's intense. But right, it's what we were saying that he's so good in every other WarioWare game.
It really is 9 Volt having the 9 Volt levels in previous WarioWare games were some of the highlights for me. I always looked forward to them. And so it is a little bit of a bummer that in this specific instance, I do not enjoy his appearances on my team. Yes. I don't like controlling him. But I do think as a character and as my experience with WarioWare, I like him more than I like Dr. Krygor, Penny, or Spit.
Just to play out the sort of hypothetical scenario of which of these characters could anchor their own game, if 9 Volt were anchoring his own game, it would be NES Remix.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally.
Which is the best possible scenario. So, okay, we are promoting 9 Volt from his position at number 13. Wow. 13 is definitely not right. 8 is what it is. We are promoting him to number 5 and knocking Dr. Krygor down to number 6, Spitz down to number 7, and Penny down to number 8. So, Mark, let's just take or is there anything else as you're looking at this that feels like it needs to be?
No, I'm okay. I think I'm okay with the rest of it.
I think I'm okay with it too. Let's just do the top 10 then.
Okay.
Number 10, Wario.
Number 9, 18 Volt.
Number 8, Penny.
Number 7, Spitz.
Number 6, Dr. Krygor.
Number 5, 9 Volt.
Number 4, 5 Volt.
Number 3, Jimmy T.
Number 2, Ashley.
And number 1, Mona.
Yeah, I think that's right. We lose the number 5 Volt thing, but I think this is truer to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
These are the WarioWare Get It Together characters, definitively ranked, and I know we didn't establish it ahead of time, so we are still friends.
We are, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Mm-hmm. Mark, let's close this out. I was standing over the table, and I had no idea what music cue I had queued up, and it just happened to be right. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you would like to tell us how you feel about the WarioWare Get It Together characters, let us know. Would love to know if you think we're being too generous to 9 Volt, or if you think someone else is an icon besides Mona, Ashley, Jimmy T, and I guess those are our definitive icons here, right? Yeah. Let us know. We love hearing from you. That's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, you can share it on Facebook or Twitter, wherever you share stuff. We appreciate it when you do that. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at NinCart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, who is also definitely an icon, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.
Greetings, listeners of Nintendo Cartridge Society.
Are you ready for a promo?
Let's do yoga. Let's get fit.
Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Muriel.
And we're the hosts of Hella in Your 30s.
This is a podcast for people of all ages, all about navigating this dystopian world we live in.
That's right. So every Monday we invite you into our living room or out into the world on whatever adventures we go on.
Or into our living room for an adventure in our living room.
Yeah, like having your wife challenge you to a Great British Baking Show style competition in your own kitchen.
That's right. Or maybe, you want to know what it's like to volunteer at a food bank.
Or maybe, you want to hear what it's like to foster kittens in the midst of a pandemic.
That's right. Super easy, but giving cats medication is literally the worst thing in the world.
Okay, anyways, if you want to hang out with us, find us every Monday, Hella in Your 30s, wherever you get your podcast.
Bye.
So tomorrow's a new day, let's order pizza.